Hey folks, it's Pastor Rodney again. I'm glad to spend some time with you on this Good Friday. I'm standing here at the outdoor amphitheater that is right across the road from my house in a place called Red Rock Creek Park. It is here that every Easter morning, if the weather permits, we find ourselves gathering together for sunrise service. That's not going to happen this year. Nevertheless, I felt like it was a good place to talk about one of the words that I want to speak to you about. That word is the biblical concept of Hesed. Um, Hesed is a word that is often translated as love in the Bible, or unfailing love, or His great love. I mean, it goes on and on, but it is deeper than that. The English translations can't hold a candle to what Hesed means. Within the context of a relationship, a covenant, Hesed is a steadfast, rock solid faithfulness that endures for all eternity. If you go over to Psalms 107, that is a beautiful psalm that over and over again expresses in so many ways what Hesed looks like. In the very first verse of the psalm and the very last verse of the psalm, there are two commands that I think are helpful for us as we think about this word. The first verse says, "Give thanks to the Lord, for He is good. His faithful love," that's His Hesed, "endures forever. Has the Lord redeemed you? Then speak out." Then over in verse 43 it says, "Those who are wise will take all of this to heart, and they will ponder the faithful love, the Hesed of the Lord." One Old Testament scholar said that the word Hesed is an excellent description, probably the best description of the God of the Old Testament. He said it speaks of a completely undeserved kindness and generosity done by a person who is in a position of power. This was the Israelites' experience of God. He revealed Himself to them when they were not looking for Him, and He kept His covenant with them long after their persistent breaking of it had destroyed any reason for his continuing to keep it. Unlike humans, this deity was not fickle, undependable, self-serving, and grasping. Instead, He was faithful, true, upright, merciful, and kind. And this was always. Isaiah 54:10 puts it this way: "Though the mountains may be shaken and the hills be removed, yet my unfailing love," that's Hesed, "for you will not be shaken." Hesed is a type of loyalty that persists beyond sin or betrayal. Because of that loyalty, God determines to mend brokenness and provide an ever-present offer of gracious, redemptive love. Hesed is a verb, and it's also a noun, but the verb behind it is not based on a feeling, kind of like our modern day love, which we think mostly in terms of feeling. Rather, it is an action or an attitude towards His creation and His people that God has. Because of Hesed, God intervenes and comes to the rescue with correction, grace, mercy, and forgiveness. I like what Lamentations chapter 3, verse 31 and 32 has to say when the writer of Lamentations, which very possibly may have been Jeremiah, is thinking about how God seems to be punishing and correcting His people. Here's what that verse says: "Rejection will not last forever. Though He brings grief, He will show compassion. So great is His unfailing love." It is possible to have a human expression of Hesed. Now, it's not as good or as strong or as wide as the Hesed God has for us, but it's still a powerful picture of what this word is about. If you want some examples of that, look at the story of Ruth. Uh, Look at the story of David and Jonathan. Look at the story of Mary, the mother of Jesus, and the Apostle John at the cross. Think about those who have shown kindness, love, mercy, and grace to you in your worst days. Think about the husband who cares for his wife who has Alzheimer's, or the mom who loves and prays for her wayward children, even though they reject and hurt her again and again. Because Hesed is an active verb. It's translated sometimes as loving faithfulness and loving kindness. Once again, neither of these words fully convey what it means. Hesed acts out of unswerving loyalty even to the most undeserving. And that's why we think about it on Good Friday, on the day that we remember the crucifixion of Jesus. Because Romans tells us that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. John 3:16 also says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him would not perish, but have everlasting life." You see, Easter is a time to celebrate God's Hesed. The resurrection is the ultimate expression of God's faithfulness, because the coming of the Messiah is that which God has promised throughout the ages. And now that he has come, we can experience his Hesed even in a much richer way. I hope you have a good day today. Praying for you, and I'll see you on Easter.